Selected. Main record.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this very first edition of Bringing Light to Blindness. My name is Shelby Craig, and I am actually here with some of my... Well, let me back up for a second. I'm going to start by sharing a little bit about my blindness and what I hope to gain from this podcast. I hope to educate the public about issues that come up with blindness and some of the challenges that they try to overcome every day, as well as to talk about how blind and visually impaired persons live out their everyday lives. I've been born blind, and I have been so for my entire life. And currently I am attending the Colorado Center for the Blind, which is one of the various training programs that are around the country to help out with independent living skills like cooking, cleaning, travel, and all those other necessities that blind people need to learn. And I dare say sighted people need to work on in some cases. And so I'm here with some of my friends who attend the center with me. We're all students there, and we're all hoping to achieve some of the same goals. And tonight, one of the requirements actually for the center is to have a dinner party for 6, and later a mini meal for 15, and later still a grad meal for 60 plus people. So my friend Vivian has actually just made her dinner party, and it was delicious. I feel very sorry for anyone who couldn't be here to have wonderful food, because it really was delicious. And so Vivian, why don't you tell our listeners about your dinner party and how you set about making it, and just your train of thought as far as the dinner party is concerned.
Well, it's actually my first solo dinner party that I've actually done. I usually have a few runners to help dish out things on the table and such, so it was kind of neat to actually be able to do it all by myself without a family member looking over my shoulder, and I think it turned out really nice. I was glad everybody could make it, and I enjoyed, actually, for the first time, and almost probably ever enjoyed cooking, because it's never been my favorite. I'm one to rather clean up the mess than make it. But, learning the timing, because getting a meal together with all the components ready and warm at the same time can be very challenging.
Tell me about it.
Oh, yeah. So it's like, okay, Madge, show up. It's getting old. It's been so much fun, and I was looking forward to it all day. And I just, when I cook, like I said, I don't like to cook, but when I cook, I want it to come out good because I want people to enjoy it.
Oh, of course.
And it sounds like everybody did, so it took some preparation,
I can imagine.
I was able to get the meatloaf all mixed together and formed about 2 hours before it had to go into the oven. So it gave me some free time, and, just organizing the side dishes, gravy and potatoes. It's like, okay, they gotta both be warm at once. But it was exciting, and I feel blessed to have all you guys here with me to share a good meal with. So.
Well, you're better than me when I was in the kitchen, that's for sure.
Like I've said several times, I've been cooking longer than most of you guys have been alive. So, but again, it's been a while since I did it solo. And it feels good, to make, give plate after plate, to somebody that really likes it.
You're welcome.
It's good, I like to see people eat, so.
We like to eat.
Yes. We don't miss too many meals.
No, not at the Colorado Center.
Yeah, chances are there's probably someone cooking something every night, and that's what's so great about the center, because a lot of people will form little groups, and they'll say, "Oh, hey, I'm cooking this tonight. Do you want to come over and have dinner?" And optimal, the general operating response is, "Yes, I'll be there. Name the time and the place."
Well, Shelby, I have, I cooked for many years. I love to cook. When my wife was pregnant, I cook dinner every night, and I used to cook complicated meals. I wrote about cooking and all that kind of thing. And then about 10 years ago, I really kind of stopped. I really slowed down, and then really for the past few years, haven't cooked at all. Kind of ceded the kitchen to my wife, and just didn't feel comfortable, didn't feel safe cooking. And since I've been at the center, I have really rediscovered the joy of cooking. I love to cook. I love to feed people. I love the sense of pride for making something delicious that you can share with someone. And I love being able to clean it up, actually.
That's something I don't hear from most people.
Well, it's not that I love the action. It's feeling like I can clean it up.
Yeah.
But I put a sponge to that dirty dish.
So it gives you a sense of completion, and
I can get it done, and it's a good feeling.
Yeah.
And, I've already had my dinner party. I'm looking forward to my mini meal.
Say that 5 times.
And, but it's not just about cooking and cleaning, but it is about these things that we want to do as well as possible.
of course.
And learning to do them is challenging. It's fun. It's annoying. But it's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I guess I can sort of understand. I mean, about wanting, cleaning up after the meal. It gives you a sense of completion, and you can think, "Oh, wow, I did this," and it gives you a sense of pleasure. And there's.
Well, not as much fun as eating food.
Well, no, definitely not. So why don't we continue by going around the room and everybody introducing themselves, and let's go clockwise, starting with you, Peter.
Okay, I'm me, Peter. I'm Peter Slayton. I'm here from New York City. I live in Manhattan. I've been here about 4 months. I'm one of the older students here at the center. I'm 61, and
You sound like you're in your 30s.
She's right. That's what I thought first.
well, what can I say? 8 years living. But, yeah, and that's me.
How long have you been blind?
I have a progressive condition called retinitis pigmentosa and another one called macular degeneration.
Oh, yeah.
I have been losing my sight gradually, drip, really my whole life. And I'd say about a dozen years ago I stopped being able to read print. I also got a guide dog at that time because I found my cane inadequate because I got hit by a taxi cab.
Oh, jeez.
And in the mad streets of Manhattan, and I have had a number of careers, and I'm currently a consultant to the hospitality industry on serving guests with disabilities.
Okay. All right, who's next?
Marlene.
Okay.
I'm Marlene McAllister, and I live in Oklahoma. I am the oldest, probably, resident here. I'm 66, and had a long career in nursing, and have been fighting glaucoma my whole life, and about 2 years ago started losing vision. So since I haven't been working, I decided to take the opportunity to come here, and hopefully I don't go completely blind. I might, I don't know, but I'm going to try to save as much vision as I can. But at least I need the training now, and I might need it even more in the future.
Yeah.
Marlene, I thought you were going to say, I hope I don't go completely insane.
Well, I don't know. I think I've already done that, so I lost my marbles years ago.
And I've only been here, this is our 4th week.
You're doing very well for your 4th week here. I mean, I know how it was when I first came in, and, it was very chaotic for me. But enough about me. Who's next?
It's Vivian's Carlisle Smith.
Okay.
I'm on level 47 of this world. I I've been a stay-at-home mom, and my kids are grown. My youngest son is 19 on the 1st of March. So my daughter's 21 and my son is 27, and now I decided to come to the center because it's time for me to stop being mom and start being Vivian. So I'm discovering just who that is on a lot of different levels. And I'm here. I've got retinitis pigmentosa. I was diagnosed in '88, and I've been completely blind since 2005. And I've met a lot of good people through the NFB, and that's how I found out about this Colorado Center. And I'm just really happy to be here, and I'm learning a lot, and I'm getting less intimidated about being on the streets now because of good cane travel instruction. So, and I'm glad my dinner party is done.
Does that seems like relief? Like, oh, finally it's done.
And I've enjoyed it all. So.
All right.
All right. Good evening to you all. My name is Richard Zapinski. I am from Arizona. I'm currently 18 years old. This is my, oh my God, I would say second or third week here. I believe I arrived January 12th. Y'all can do the math for yourselves. Anyway, but I have been here before though, so it's really not that different from when I was here before, except for the fact that I'm here for 9 months instead of 2 months like I was 2 years ago for a summer program. Anyway, so I was born pretty much blind. I was born 2 months premature, and I was born with retinopathy of prematurity. And my story with that, long story short, is I was a C-section when I came out. I was 1 pound. I could fit from your wrist to someone's middle fingertip. That is how long I was. My foot could fit on somebody's pinky nail. That's how small I was. My skin was pretty much translucent. So, really, it was touch and go for a while. I was put in an incubator, right after I was born. And the doctor said to my parents, just a little while after I was put in, they gave me too much oxygen to the brain and said it's either his lungs or his eyes, because the lungs and the eyes were the last to develop. So they said, take your pick, and I'm very, very, very glad they chose my eyes. I do love to talk, and I really, really, really couldn't do that if I was short of breath all the time. So, anyway, I'm here mainly for technology, which is another one that Shelby forgot to mention. There are 4 main classes: travel, home management, cooking, cleaning, sewing. God awful.
There's a few extras on the sides.
Yes. Braille, which is, you're learning Braille or progressing in it with reading speed or writing or whatever it is. And then there's technology, which is my main focus here because, as people will tell all of you, I am not tech savvy.
My mom always says she's technologically challenged.
Yes.
I'm not tech savvy whatsoever. So that's pretty much my story. I'm very glad that I was here because, as I said, it was touch and go for a while. I wasn't even supposed to be alive according to medical science. So
well, neither was I, but I guess we will both prove them wrong.
Yeah,
so
exactly. So enough about me.
Yeah.
And we'll progress.
Yeah, and, just a couple of things to clarify for the listeners. You keep hearing about, what is Braille? I don't know what that is. Braille is, the long and the short of it is, Braille is a system of 6 dots, and depending on how those dots are arranged and how they are analyzed, so to speak, by the reader, they are, the different combinations can form letters and contractions, which are the shorter forms of commonly used words. And every letter, well, almost every letter has its own contraction, has its own meaning. if any of my listeners need any more clarification, I'm on Facebook, Twitter. I have a YouTube channel, and if you send me an email, just make sure you include a subject. Otherwise, I won't read it because I'm thinking, oh wow, I see this email in my inbox. Who is this? So just be sure to mention who you are, and if anyone has any questions that they want to bring up, just shoot me an email, post something on Facebook or Twitter. I'm on social media. I wouldn't say a lot of the time, but I do check it periodically. And another thing is, this is not a slam on you at all, Richie. The accent, no, he's not from England. It's just for stage presence.
You had to ruin it, didn't you, Shelby? You're editing this out, you know
What?
Get Matt though.
You're editing this out.
No, I haven't forgotten you, Matt.
Making sure.
Sorry, Matt, but I didn't want them to think, oh, he's from England.
Why don't
okay.
you're editing this part out, Shelby.
Matt, I'm sorry, I didn't forget about you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to be here?
Well, I'm 24, so relatively young myself. I was the one who was fashionably late to this lovely party.
About 13 minutes.
Yeah, a little bit of but actually it's relevant to kind of the story as to, a lot of this program is about problem solving and about getting yourself through difficult situations and not taking the easy way out. And, I had to wait for a bus for an hour and a half today to get home, and I was freaking out because I didn't have anyone here's telephone number. I had no clue who to call, and it was like that. And, I didn't know what to do.
Okay.
And it was just a lot of this program, whether it be this type of situation or I'm being serenaded while I talk. Sorry, I'm gonna wait till the music dies down. It's a little distracting.
Sorry about that.
Anyway, and I had to keep my calm, stay focused, and get myself through. And I wound up coming here and having a good meal. And it's the same thing in travel when you do independence. It's the same thing in home management when you're cooking and you're getting a little frustrated. It's all about, as a blind person who is learning all these skills, a lot of majority for the first time, it tests your mettle as a person, and it tests who you are. And as I think Vivian hit the nail on the head, it makes you realize who you are in a lot of ways. But anyway, I went off on a little tangent there. I graduated from Temple University in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia, with a broadcast journalism degree, and I decided that I had two options. I primarily did not dorm at Temple, and I had two options: go for my master's or get a job and continue to live my existence of going to school / work, going home, going there, going home, having my mom make my meals, and whatever, but I could justify it by saying, well, I'm making money, or, well, I'm getting a higher education. Or I could actually really decide, I love my family with all my heart, but I need to take the bull by the proverbial horns here and get out and really start living my own life and doing my own thing. And that's why I'm here. And, as I said, it really tests me, and I've learned, this is, like Marlene, this is about my 4th week. And already in the first month, I feel like I've changed a lot. I've changed immensely, and I've learned a lot about the type of person that I am and that I want to be, and my likes and dislikes, and a lot more than I learned in my first 24 years of.
That's awesome, man.
That's awesome. It's wonderful.
Shelby,
Very
can I
well
introduce
presented.
one other presence?
Absolutely. Come in. That would be Roya the guide dog. That was priceless.
You found that.
Oh.
Why isn't anybody getting up there?
Why aren't you opening it?
Oh, that was priceless. That was wonderful. Thank you for that entertainment, Peter.
She still thinks
Come here, Roya.
Oh, that was priceless. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that.
I just wanted to introduce my guide dog, Roya. And she's 7. She's been with me 5 years. She's kind of confused about life at the center because while we're at the center, when we're in classes, she's on a tie down. Now she's licking my shirt because I was a slob. She does not like being left all by herself. She's bored all day, so she helps me walk when I'm not here. When I'm not during class, using my cane, which I love my cane travel class, and I love working with Roya.
Mm-hmm.
And she's well loved by everyone at the center.
Oh yeah, she has a lot of she has a lot of fans, a lot of fans. And I've been thinking about getting a guide dog, but I want to wait until at least my second year of college. As I said before, my name is Shelby Craig, and I am actually one of the youngest students here at the center currently. I've been, as I said before, I know I sound redundant by repeating myself, but I was born blind, and I'm actually one of the only visually impaired people in my family aside from my grandfather. And the doctors actually, they don't really know what I have, but they have diagnosed it as fever, and it's not, the fever that you're thinking of when you get sick. It's a type of genetic condition. Unfortunately, I'm not well educated in medical science to know what the letters mean, but it's instead of being spelled the typical way, Fever, it's actually, they left out the last E and just kept the R. I was also born premature. I was born 1 pound, 14 ounces, thereabouts. And I was really tiny. You could hold me in the palm of your hand. I was so small. And the doctors didn't think that I would live either. Because when I was born, I cried. And then I took one breath and then I stopped breathing. So I had to be whisked away to the natal intensive care unit. So I can imagine it was a very rough time for my parents. And, I just want to pause for a second to say God bless my parents, because I come from a very supportive family who have never seen blindness as an oddity. They've never treated me any differently than they've treated my twin brother and younger sister. And they're just very supportive. And I'm sorry, I get emotional if I think about it too much. But the long and the short of it is they're wonderful parents, and I couldn't ask for any better parents in this earthly realm.
Well, Shelby, not to what's the word? Buff our hostess, but you really are just an impressive young woman.
Yes.
And as Marlene said earlier tonight, before we started this, you have an amazing array of talents. You're smart and gracious, and we love being with you. So
Yes.
just heads off to you and to your parents, because they certainly did do some remarkable work with you.
Oh, thank you very much.
And we all have so many, each one of us has such a different story. And mine, I'm not going to get fully into, but my parents loved me, of course, and my brother, but they didn't really know what to do. And they didn't know we were blind either. They knew something was wrong, but they couldn't quite figure it out for some reason. But that's another story entirely about the medical profession and also the way things were for doctors at that time. And so my life has been building things up slowly, learning slowly. All the things that you and Richie learned very much from the start of your lives. So it's just a world of different experiences.
Peter, if I may.
You may.
I do
Any
have...
accent you choose.
Such a joy to be around. Anyway,
You really are, Peter. I have to agree with Richie on this one.
sarcastic, Shelby.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't intend to be offensive.
No, you just ruined my fun, that's all.
Well,
Anyway,
excuse me.
I was going to say, I may have, learnt it from, the ground up, but I have to say, losing sight, as you say, drip by drip, throughout your life, really, I would say that takes, in my opinion, more strength than anything.
I have to agree.
Yes, because Shelby and I have been this way since we were born. This is all we know.
This is all mostly old stuff to us. So
basically, but Vivian, you've been that way for what, 12 years? Mm-hmm. Vivian, who once could see, Marlene, who could once see, as well as you. I'm sure you. I don't know your level of vision was when you were younger, Peter. But
it was. It could be corrected to about 2100.
Okay.
But it was a very narrow field of vision, and it was constantly changing. And of course, I didn't see in the evenings or night.
But those of you, the majority of you here who once had some sort of vision, I do have to say I give props to the three of you, because
I do too.
You've had to go through more than we have.
Mm-hmm.
We went through all of it. We went through all of the stuff that we don't remember.
I'm going to say that this is something I've heard lots of, and I think it's interesting. It's like one of those questions people ask: would you rather lose your sight slowly or at birth, etc. And of course, on the other hand, I say, well, I learned to see things that you will never see. I've seen sights you will never see. I have memories. I have a very strong visual memory. I was a painter in my youth.
I was just
my
going to say that.
And I'm very grateful for that. People sometimes say, "Would you rather be deaf or blind?" Or what kind of weird questions are these?
Yeah.
And so I think that for all of us, it doesn't matter. We have what we have, and we got what we got.
Mm-hmm. My mama always said, not to sound like Forrest Gump or anything, but
Run, Forrest, run.
No. My mama always said that, when at the beginning of our lives, we are each given a hand of cards. And sometimes it's a really crummy hand, and other times it's a wonderful hand. But, excuse me, it's not about the cards that you were dealt. It's about how you use them in your daily life. And I'm sorry, what's that?
Could you put your feet in a little bit?
Oh, sorry, my bad. My bad. But I've always found this true, and especially as I continue to go through my daily life and develop all of these skills that I've had to come here to get training in, I find that especially true. And I've seen it in the lives of others around me, including all of these wonderful people who are sitting in the room with me. And I can't find words to express how much courage it takes to decide, okay, I need this training and I need to come here and get out of my comfort zone. Because I felt that way when I was first coming here too. This has been my first time really being away from home and the comforts of my family, because I've lived with them for all my life. I've been through public school from day one of elementary school. I've been mainstreamed, even though I was in a class in elementary school where there were other people who were visually impaired, and they had various levels of vision and abilities to read and write. But even though I was in that class, I was mainstreamed into a class of sighted people. So I was able to develop an understanding for at least some idea of how to interact with sighted people, and I'll admit I'm still not the best at that skill.
I think you do fine.
I would have to agree with them. And really, I figure it could... you were saying, Shelby, that you don't really... you have trouble working with them? Is that what you say? Or?
I do. I have a hard time interacting with them. And even here, some of the language that, other people as young as me tend to use. Mm-hmm. So it's very... for someone who's, not to brag about myself or anything, but for someone who's buried their noses in books and dictionaries, it just sounds odd to me because I've never heard my parents use that language, even though my brother and sister have. And my parents and I are thinking, oh man, I can't understand what they're saying. So,
Well, in my opinion, it could either go one of two ways. Yes. Failed math in high school, all right, give me a break.
I almost did, but
It could either
No,
go.
you didn't.
I got a C.
That is not failing, God.
I doubt you got a C too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I got a
Anyway,
C, and I don't know how I did that.
it
But
could
anyway,
go
carry
one
on.
of two ways. You could either be very adaptive, and as Shelby said, ruining my fun stage presence. So, I've been an actor for years.
I couldn't tell.
I've been an. Oh, she's finally sarcastic. Look at her.
No, I've always been sarcastic. It's just in moments when I choose to show it.
Anyway, but it could either go one of two ways. It could either go the way that Shelby did, where she, kind of shelters herself. No offense to you.
None taken,
shelters
jerk.
herself off. Which shelters herself off from, from people, or you're the social. Yes?
Sorry but I wouldn't say Shelby shelters herself off from people.
Oh, so we're all talking about me now and my flaws. That's just
no,
great.
absolutely not.
I know. I'm just
gonna have to-
yanking your chain.
I don't know if you may
It
be
is getting
worded.
late.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We'll cut it short.
I don't know if you
Sorry
may be
about
worded
that.
that wrong, but I don't get the impression that you shelter yourself from people as much as maybe say the language that people tend to use, or the innuendos that people speak on a daily basis. But in terms of people, you are a people person. There's no doubt about that.
No, that's not what I meant. What I meant was not from people, but just what I caught when you said you had trouble working with people who can see was that you did, in a way. That's what I caught from what you said, was you kind
That
of
would
just
make it
put
a
yourself
great
off.
episode
That
right
would.
there. Just all by itself.
So I'm getting a signal that it's time to wrap up, and I'm sorry if I kept you guys later than was intended. But so again, my name is Shelby Craig. I'll be back next week with another episode. Again, I'm on Facebook, Twitter. I have an email. But you can just look me up on social media, and please introduce yourself with your questions and comments and anything that you want me to talk about in future podcasts. And so until now, this is the students from CCB, the Colorado Center for the Blind, and we're signing off for the night. So I'm wishing all of my listeners a very pleasant evening.
Main
Good
share.
evening.
Dim. Button. 32. Land.
Shelby.
Dim. Main report. Main share. Dim. 32. 52. Main import. Selection. Main record.